Hello there, and welcome back to Friendonkey Wrestling Season 2. We are here at Survivor Series. It is War Games time. And in the main event, Mr. Main Event himself, Jey Uso. It will be a War Games main event this evening, ladies and gentlemen, in the interpromotional brand affair. It is quite a stacked card ahead of us this evening, and we're kicking things off in a big way with the FDW Championship on the line. Drew McIntyre versus The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Drew has already overcome Bray Wyatt, but The Fiend is a different animal entirely. World Championship on the line once again. En route to War Games. This is a scene we don't see very often. We've seen him ambush people. We saw this side of Bray Wyatt only once in Season 1 of FDW, where we went to war with NXT. And on that occasion, The Fiend vanquished and retired The Undertaker. This is only the second time in FDW history The Fiend has stepped between the ropes in action. But his track record so far in his one and only match is quite the accomplishment. You've got to think that's playing on the mind of Drew McIntyre heading into this matchup. It's The Fiend dragging himself down to the ring there in ominous fashion. Seeking to grab a championship here this evening. Should The Fiend be victorious here this evening, I feel that FDW will never be the same again. But if there's one man who can put this demon to bed, it's the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre. En route to this matchup, and as part of his championship reign, he has overcome every single member of Imperium. Gunther, Ilya Dragunov, Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci. He's overcome other singles competition in the likes of Tommaso Ciampa, Seth Rollins. And here, he has even vanquished Bray Wyatt. He's beaten Karrion Kross, LA Knight, Big E. The list goes on. But only on a couple of occasions has Drew McIntyre defended the championship. He was successful against Bray Wyatt in title defense. Successful against Gunther. And this one, I believe, will be his third defense of that championship. Potentially his fourth, if I can count correctly. What is undoubtedly his toughest challenge yet, as he's never faced a challenger like The Fiend before. I call him Bray Wyatt, but I don't think Bray's in there anymore. We've not seen Bray Wyatt ever since Drew McIntyre defeated him. As he put his title on the line, he busted Bray Wyatt open. Hit him with a massive future shock DDT. And as that just unleashed the Fiend on FDW. Ominous feeling in the ring. Ref signals for the bell, and we're off to the races. The Fiend immediately takes charge, throwing Drew McIntyre around like he's nothing. Ripping at the face of Drew McIntyre. And Drew's going to have to find something special here as the Fiend breaks Drew's neck. Or at least aims to, hits that big senton. As the part of Bray Wyatt shines through. Scraping Drew's face across the mat, rubbing his face in it. Taunting Drew to come at him in this one-on-one affair. I suppose Drew's one saving grace is that he does have the champion's advantage. The Fiend firmly in control. Drew yet to throw a punch in this match. And here's the dominance on display. And we've been so blindsided by this back and forth between Drew and Bray Wyatt that we've not stopped to think, what does this mean for FDW? Should the worst come to happen, Fiend now in control. Drew with a big suplex looking to take charge. And a huge lariat. Been getting himself some breathing room as Drew hits that massive dive to the outside, which we only ever really see him do in big matches, so he must feel this is a big one and he needs to pull out everything he's got. A win here would solidify him as an FDW legend. Huge slam there to the back of the Fiend's neck. But is it going to be enough to take him down? Count of 5 now as we head back into the ring. Drew up to the top rope. Big elbow drop to the heart of the Fiend, if he even has one. Count of 2 and the Fiend kicks out. Is Drew calling for it? Could this be Claymore to the Fiend? And that could be all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. But not on this occasion. Kick out at 2. Fiend still with the wherewithal. Drew just egging the Fiend to get back to his feet to keep bringing the fight. An absolute Scottish psychopath now unleashed here on the Fiend, and who's in more danger? Fiend reversing through into a DDT. It's a lot of weight to come slamming down onto the head and neck of Drew McIntyre. He's turned inside out. Fiend in control. Locks up with the champ. Seeks for the flying crossbody, but doesn't quite connect. Doesn't come off on this occasion, and that could be the miscalculation from the Fiend. He clambers to get himself back to his feet. Drew looking for a big Alabama slammer onto the Fiend. McIntyre once again heads to the top rope. Another huge elbow drop potentially. Right to the heart. This could be 3. As Drew stands tall, the victor vanquished the Fiend. And that is big for Drew, and that is big for FDW. He still stands tall, your FDW World Champion. Raw putting forward their tag team match. Who's going to win on this occasion? It's Pretty Deadly. They dethrone the Judgment Day as tag champions. Smackdown putting on a big women's match here, fatal 4-way as Asuka defends her belt and retains against Nia Jax, Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch. A huge match there. Still representing Smackdown, Miz and Dijak, as Miz wins the Intercontinental Championship. Good for Miz. Raw and their World Championship picture. Nakamura retaining against Braun Strowman. And then onto their US title, Dominic Mysterio defending against The Miz. The Miz claiming the championship for Monday Night Raw. And now the Supremacy match. When I saw who Raw and SmackDown had sent as their representatives, I gulped. Last week we announced that Ricochet would be defending FDW, and we felt pretty confident about that. But coming out the gate swinging, representing SmackDown, Triple H. Hope Ricochet's got his working boots on this evening for FDW, because that's just one of his opponents. SmackDown with a huge signing of Triple H.
Making his way to the ring from Greenwich, Connecticut, weighing in at 255 pounds, the Game, Triple H!
This is going to be a tough old match for Trev. But we believe in him. The most decorated champion in FDW history, stepping into one of the most decorated champions in WWE history. In fact, not just one of them, 2 of them.
And his opponents, first from Las Vegas, Nevada, weighing in at 190 pounds, Ricochet!
Go on, Ricochet. A win here would be huge for Trev. But he's not just got to overcome Triple H. Representing Monday Night Raw, it's the Animal Batista. A huge triple threat match here for Survivor Series. As it stands in the Supremacy ratings, Raw have 3, SmackDown have 4, FDW have 1. Could FDW do the unthinkable in this matchup? The odds are stacked in our favour. Or against us, rather. We can only hope that Triple H and Batista beat the hell out of each other and Ricochet can pick up the pieces. Triple threat rules. Once again, it's no DQ, no countouts. Don't quite know who that favours in this matchup as Batista, powerhouse. Going against the game, the cerebral assassin and King of Kings, Triple H. We appear to have a temporary alliance on our boy. Trev needs to keep himself the hell out of dodge. The fear of coming into contact with these two absolute legends. Big Uranagi spike there from Batista. As Ricochet gets out of harm's way, but he's got to stay close enough to the action to break up pinfalls, secure pinfalls. Trev might need a weapon here. Triple H with a huge blow there on Batista as Ricochet looks to use his speed and quickness. Just bounces off these two juggernauts. Big drop kick there. Batista rolls out of the ring as Trev locks up with Triple H. And immediately gets thrown to the corner as Batista grabs a sledgehammer of all things. Triple H goes for the cover now. Batista breaks it up. Ricochet off the second turnbuckle, and I don't quite know what happened there, but that's so much speed and momentum, knocking both members of Evolution to the mat. Triple H wrenching on Batista now, looking to make him submit as Ricochet grabs the sledgehammer and puts it to good use. Triple H flings Ricochet off the top rope. And Batista carrying Triple H around like he's nothing. Quite a back and forth affair so far. Fairly standard match, sledgehammer looming ominously in the middle of the ring. Triple H hits Ricochet off of his knee. And Ricochet hits an insecurity to the back of Triple H and then uppercut to Batista. Seeks to capitalise. Only a 1 count. And those are the opportunities that Ricochet has to take. Shooting star press, but Batista with it scouted. Clearly these two have had an eye on FDW and they know what we're about. Able to counter the shooting star press like it's nothing. Ricochet with the Irish whip to Triple H. Batista launching Ricochet skyward before he comes hurtling back down to the mat. Triple H looking for a DDT. Batista with it reversed into the clothesline. Big knee there from Ricochet to Batista, who rolls to the outside. Ricochet grabs the sledgehammer and uses it on Triple H of all people. This is the equaliser that he needs. He needs to get the damage in on these two. He can't afford to take any hits himself with that weapon. Because if he does, you gotta feel it's gonna be lights out for our boy Trev. Huge suplex there from the animal. He looks to get the cover. Could this be 3? Another win for Raw would be big for them as they tie things up with Smackdown. Spear from Batista as Triple H potentially saves us there from taking the pinfall, but then turns his attention to Ricochet himself. Ricochet off his game here this evening, clearly being thrown, a little starstruck. Unable to connect with these two as Batista, could this be Batista bomb to Triple H? Ricochet sucking wind in the corner. All he needs to do is fall forward. Quick stomp there and he breaks up the pinfall. That would have been a devastating loss for us. Ricochet hook to the leg, only a 1 count. Saw his opportunity, looked to take it, and there's the speed that he needs to utilise while Triple H gathers himself on the outside. Ricochet doing much better against Batista here than he is against Triple H. Dragging Batista down to the mat, but Triple H now back in the ring, back in control, and oh my god, Thought about a pedigree, but Ricochet able to counter. And that's the athleticism from our boy there. Batista with a almost Rainmaker-like ripcord clothesline there. Turning Trev inside out. Batista with a baseball bat. Triple H grabbing his signature. Sledgehammer there. And now Batista just teeing off on both men on the outside. No countouts, no disqualification. This is what it's all about. Ricochet with a crucifix suplex there. In control as Triple H thinks about a spear. Throws Ricochet back into the ring. Is that a smart move? Will Ricochet be able to pick up a quick pinfall? Single leg slam there to Triple H. And that's wise. If he takes away the legs, he takes away the power. Another huge ripcord clothesline from Batista, who hits a running shoulder tackle, and Batista is the one in control at the moment. Ricochet dumped unceremoniously off the top rope. As Batista thinks about locking in a modified crossface, it's cinched in deep. Triple H stalking the outside of the ring. Breaks up the pinfall for us as Batista nearly took down another victory for Raw. Can Ricochet do the unthinkable? Can he overcome either of these men? Code breaker to Triple H while Batista lays dazed on the outside. Ricochet. Thought that was 3 then. I thought it was going to be a magic moment for Ricochet, who comes off the top rope with a huge moonsault, leaping over Batista to get to Triple H, but he finds himself in the clutches of Batista now. He wriggles out. Triple H back to his feet, using the ropes for leverage. Batista with that back elbow strike to Ricochet. Belly to belly from Batista to Triple H there. Ricochet staring at the lights. Batista just grabbing the sledgehammer and almost has a bit of a receipt for earlier. Oh no, this could be the end. Trev's nowhere near. He's nowhere near the decision. Can he get back in? Can he break it up? Yes, he can. The energy of Ricochet. Never to be outdone. Swinging neckbreaker. Triple H rolls out. Oh dear. Leg sweep there from Batista. Just a shot block just brings Ricochet down as he flipped out of Triple H's offense. Triple H just dragging Batista across the top rope. Big knee there from Ricochet and another quick kick. Shaking it off. Batista gets him into the fireman's carry. Can Ricochet wriggle out of this one? Yes, he can. And that's perhaps what Triple H and Batista weren't expecting from our boy. Oh, and that's huge from Ricochet. He's got Batista tangled up in all sorts of weird and wonderful positions as Triple H now uses that kendo stick on Ricochet. Oh, this could be the end. He covers our boy. And that's another win for Smackdown, who I think have just sealed it up. Taking home a 5th win for Smackdown, and I don't think there's any way, given the pay-per-views that are left on the calendar, for either brand to bring home victory, as Smackdown come out tops in the supremacy of the 3 brands. The odds were stacked against us in that one, but he put up a game performance, but Triple H coming out the victor. Speaking of odds being stacked against, Bayley stepping up to Bianca Belair. Bayley coming off the back of a loss to Fallon Henley in the Go Home episode of FDW, which has undoubtedly shaken her confidence heading into this match, as neither woman had taken a loss in quite some time. Cracks in the armour for Bayley. That's all that Bianca Belair needs, really, in a match like this, where her championship is on the line. But whether or not it's knocked Bayley's confidence, or has it just given her the little extra fight that she needs to dig that little deeper, she's going to need to in a match like this. Stepping up to Bianca Belair. And that's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen, the FDW Women's Championship.
Introducing the challenger from San Jose.
As Belair hands over her prized possession. Fight that's 6 weeks in the making, even longer, as Bayley claimed that #1 contendership. She's had her eye on this title for some time. Immediately looking to get the job done. Bayley in control here of this match. And is Bianca Belair's hubris getting the better of her? She's held that championship for some time, tearing it away from Rhea Ripley, whose name must not be said. Belair in control. Count of 1. Bayley back to her feet, just getting some breathing room. Smart from the challenger, using the 10 count to her advantage, but she can't afford to take too long. We know Belair doesn't like to win that way. Seen Belair take down many a challenger. I've already mentioned Rhea Ripley. She defeated Liv Morgan, Tegan Nox, taken on the likes of every woman on the roster, really. If Bayley's unable to do it here, where do we go with FDW? Back to her feet now is Bayley. She's going to need to break out everything she's got, and attacking the arm like that in such a big manner, almost a DDT to the arm there. It's a smart move against Belair. If you can remove that power, the muscle in those arms. Belair, a history of weightlifting, powerlifting. Both women no stranger to championship success here on Friendonkey Gaming. Bayley, a multiple-time women's champion in the first season of Smackdown. Belair, one of the longest reigning champions ever, if not the longest reigning. A mantle which could be taken from her. She hits a huge, almost blue thunderbomb there to Bayley, who rolls out with a follow-up elbow drop. And tiredness, fatigue starting to set in there for Bayley. She thought about a clothesline, but barely connected with the upper thigh of Bianca Belair, who now hooks Bayley up with a sit-up face buster. which she has used to seal victories before, and the ring awareness there of the champion, dragging Bayley away from the ropes. And there's 3. Bayley never really posing a threat to Bianca Belair. Well, she's knocked off Bianca Belair. But as we learned a couple of weeks ago, her next challenger waiting in the wings will be Tiffany Stratton. But she still stands tall with the FDW Women's Championship. Huge. Moving back to Smackdown for their World Championship picture, Randy Orton taking on Cody Rhodes. And he wins, dethroning Cody Rhodes. Randy Orton is the WWE Champion. Wow. Some big names on the card here for Survivor Series. The best of which we've saved for War Games.
The rules of the match are as follows.
The rules are on screen now. 2 teams contained in separate cages, 1 member of each team starting the match. Regular intervals, alternating members of each team will be released and enter the match. Team with the advantage, which Seth Rollins earned for his team last time out, defeating Gunther. We'll have the first member released into the match, and once everyone's entered, War Games will begin.
The match can be won by pinfall or submission.
Only pinfall or submission. Do not leave the cage.
Now, let the War Games begin!
This should be good. Many members already in the cages standing ready to go, but starting the match will be Jey Uso. This all began with the Usos. Will it all end with the Usos?
Introducing first, representing
Apologies for knocking the headset there.
from San Francisco, California.
Main event, Jey Uso strutting his way down to the ring. One of the biggest matches of his career. He'll be beginning things. Representing Imperium. One half of the tag champions, Ludwig Kaiser. Who many are calling the mastermind of Imperium. He orchestrated the assault on the Usos backstage. He orchestrated their tag team championship success once again.
And representing Imperium from Hamburg.
Jey versus Kaiser to begin the matchup. We're off to the races, and Jey comes out the gate swinging into an immediate DDT. Kaiser looking to break the arm of Jey Uso now, almost the wrist, just stomping on the elbow as well, and just ground and pound assault. Both men with a lot of history here in FDW Season 2. Kaiser looking for the drop kick, but Jey just swatting it away. We've seen fatigue now with both these teams starting to set in. We've seen it across the board here this evening. People not quite managing to make every move stick. The clues in the title of the pay-per-view. Survivor Series. You need to survive everything your opponents can throw at you. As Jey Uso with a quick headbutt. Is that Kaiser busted open already? And I believe it is. This early into the matchup, this is going to be an intense, bloody affair. as the remaining 6 men on the teams stand on watching. The counter begins, and making their way down to join Jey Uso. It's his brother. It's Jimmy. Jimmy Uso into the matchup now. He brings a bit of weaponry. Brings a chair, but he's not done there. He grabs a kendo stick. It's a classic. Nothing else for now, but a couple of weapons, a couple of goodies into the matchup. 2-on-1 beatdown on Ludwig Kaiser for a couple of minutes. Usos have been at the receiving end of a 2-on-1 beatdown. Jey Uso nonetheless. After count-out, shenanigans got far too out of hand. Kaiser having to hold down the fort on his own. Imperium on the back foot, which is not like them really. But when they're a unified front, they are a force to be reckoned with, as Ludwig Kaiser hits a flying crossbody. Jey Uso retaliates with a chair shot, and this has got to be some revenge for the parking lot brawl a couple of weeks ago. Jey Uso throwing Ludwig Kaiser around. Jimmy with the equalizer. Coming down to join Ludwig Kaiser now is his tag team partner Giovanni Vinci. And there's a bit of history here between the Usos and these two men. Big suplex there from Ludwig Kaiser. Giovanni Vinci now at the hands of Jey Uso. There's a lot going on. Chair and kendo broken and splintered in the ring. Jimmy isolated as Kaiser gets Jey Uso between the rings, as there are 2 rings in a War Games match. Only 2 rings can contain teams of this nature. Kaiser with a big insecurity, but Jey with the equalizer, and it seems that when one Uso falls, the other was right there immediately to back him up. Brothers since conception. Flying crossbody from Giovanni Vinci. And making our way down now as Jey Uso thinks about heading to the top of the cage. Is he thinking about escaping? Nope, he's thinking about throwing caution to the wind as Jey Uso with a huge Uso splash to Ludwig Kaiser. Draws all the attention for himself as Roman Reigns makes his way down to the ring. Reigns a big signing for FDW. He adds many goodies into the ring, least of which a table and a bin. And I believe that's also a sledgehammer. As he hits a huge Uranagi there to Ludwig Kaiser, starts teeing off the tribal chief, flanked by the Usos. Giovanni Vinci now. Big delayed vertical suplex there to Jimmy Uso, but Jey just getting the revenge. He's there with the sledgehammer, poised, ready and waiting. Who's coming down next? Jey Uso throws the sledgehammer at Giovanni Vinci, busting him wide open. Imperium bleeding here, left, right and centre. Ilya Dragunov, the wild dog, now comes into the ring as Jimmy Uso comes off the top of the cage. Both Usos putting their bodies on the line. It's 3-on-3. Roman and the Usos against Imperium. Which means we all know who's out last for each team. It's Seth and Gunther. We've been at each other's throats for weeks now. Jey Uso with a big splash onto Ilya Dragunov now, and it's getting chaotic inside the rings. Big Samoan drop there from Jimmy Uso as Roman Reigns throws Ilya Dragunov around. Jey Uso yeets the bin into Ludwig Kaiser. Blood still pouring from his head. Jimmy Uso comes off the top rope with a huge Uso splash. Roman and Jey standing tall. Giovanni Vinci with a big reversal of both Jimmy and Roman there, smacking their heads together. Just making his way down to the ring now. No stranger to a War Games match. The TV champion Seth Rollins in his second War Games match. He grabs a kendo stick, it looks like, and throws it into the ring, but not satisfied with just kendo. Grabs a chair as well. Spinning powerbomb there from Giovanni Vinci as it's 4-on-3, and Imperium have got their work cut out for them. Bit of miscommunication there from Roman and Seth as Ludwig Kaiser's blood is starting to stain the mat. The longer this match goes, the more you feel it's got to favour Team Seth. Kick to the midsection from Rollins into the swinging neckbreaker. Giovanni Vinci with a clothesline. Seth with a drop kick to Ludwig Kaiser. Accidentally connects with Jey Uso. Seth in a flurry of offense, just taking out anyone and everyone who'll get in his way. And now making his way down to join his stablemates, Gunther. Who immediately grabs the kendo stick and joins the other 7 men in the blood-stained ring. Jey Uso yeeting Ludwig Kaiser around. Seth Rollins almost power slams or power bombs Ludwig Kaiser through a table, but not one to be outdone. Roman Reigns power bombs Gunther, Giovanni Vinci, into the next ring. Oh no, it was Ilya Dragunov. Difficult to tell, lots going on. Jimmy Uso now using that kendo, putting it to good use as Seth Rollins is isolated, busted open with 3 members of Imperium. It very much seems to be Roman and the Usos, one team, and Seth Rollins finds himself on his own, having to fight off Gunther, Kaiser and Vinci. Jimmy now comes to the aid of Seth Rollins. He was the first man to say he'll help, but found himself on his own. Ilya Dragunov now fired up. Huge running shoulder tackle there, followed up with a sent onto Jey Uso, and could that be where all the action is? Roman Reigns throwing Ludwig Kaiser around, the blood pissing all over the mat. Gunther throwing Jimmy Uso to the left-hand ring as it's Seth and Roman in there against Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, who gets him up into a big power slam. Giovanni Vinci looking for a pinfall over Roman Reigns, which would be huge. Seth Rollins breaking up the pinfall attempt, and it's the one attacking Ludwig Kaiser as the Usos Go 2-on-2 with Dragunov and Gunter. Vinci tossed into the left-hand ring. It's Roman and Kaiser in the right. Jey Uso teeing off on Ilya Dragunov as Seth Rollins looks to beat up Dragunov as well. Jey Uso with a big DDT to Dragunov. With Jimmy, it's the underhook sidewalk slam. Blood everywhere. It's Kaiser with a huge suplex to Roman Reigns. I didn't even see the pinfall attempt. Jimmy Uso picks up the win.
The team of Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso.
A lot going on in that match. I apologise, I missed the pinfall. But they have vanquished Imperium in War Games. Jimmy Uso picking up the win. They broke out the big guns, the big dog himself, Roman Reigns, who is here on FDW. Yet another hugely successful pay-per-view outing, if I don't say so myself. We've seen Imperium toppled, with perhaps now the strongest team in FDW. We've seen Bianca Belair continue her reign of terror. We unfortunately saw Ricochet come up short and Drew McIntyre retaining as well. Our champion standing tall here on FDW. Stay tuned to find out what's going to happen next, as the landscape may be shifting. I'm looking forward to finding out what happens, and I hope you are too. See you soon.